Recently, I broke the wire of my wire cutter, and I wanted to first to show you how I broke it, and then I'm gonna show you how I replaced it. You see, I was about to cut this soup, and as you can see, I'm tightening the wire right now. I gave it a few turns already. And then I went away and decided to do something, I don't remember what. But when I came back, I tightened it some more until it snapped. So if you hear that noise, that was the noise of the wire breaking apart, because I obviously, it had too much tension for me twisting and twisting that twice. So I tried to follow the wire along from the point where it is inserted in the guitar tuner to the other side of the cutter where it's put together. So I had to remove the screw on that side, which has its own handle. So it's actually very easy to do. It was just a matter of pulling that, removing the washer, and then removing the wood piece to see how the wire is assembled on that side. When I pull it, I realized that it has like a small spacer metal bead that is what keeps it from fitting through the hole in the wood. Here I have the replacement wire that came with the cutter, and it's two pieces of wire. It's already wrapped around this small golden ring, and then I think I'm supposed to use the stopper bead, or this spacer bead really, so that it will go into this portion and it will pretty much stop the wire from going through. I'm not going to use the replacement wire that came with the cutter just now, because first I want to experiment and see if any other wire would work. I have here some stainless steel wire. This is of a thicker thickness than the one that came with the cutter, and I want to see if it works. Before this, I experimented replacing it with a thinner wire, and that didn't work. But I don't have the exact same gauge, so I'm just gonna see if this works. I'm going to cut a portion of it. It's important when you work with wire, if you're gonna be cutting it, that you wear eye protection, because it can bounce and you don't want it to scratch your eyes or your face for that matter. I'm gonna look for something similar to this to wrap it around. I have here some spacers, but they're smaller. Oh, but I think one of these will work. Like this, another spacer. I think that might work. So I'm just gonna feed this through the bead and fold it over. Not sure if this wire is gonna work because it's so thick that it's even hard to manipulate. I'm going to try and tighten this. Okay. I need another set of pliers. So while I hold this with the other pliers, I'm just twisting it. When you cut wire, it's a good idea to cover the part that's going to possibly fly off with your hand. That way it will not go flying off, but it will stay in your hand, preventing a possible accident. I did have to make some additional adjustments to tighten that loop, and then I fed the spacer bead that's going to serve as a stopper. Okay, and I'm going to feed it through here. Because I'm using a thicker wire, I'm having trouble making it go through this in the part that is wrapped around. This wire is 20 gauge, which is about 0.8 millimeters. So I had to trim that end that was sticking out and also tighten it with the nose pliers, rather needle nose pliers. So now I'm gonna fit the wire through the opposite hole in the wood, and then I noticed that there were some kinks in the wire, being thicker and also more stiff than a guitar wire. So I tried to straighten that out or work them out by holding the wire on one hand and then just passing the needle nose pliers through to make it more smooth or straight. Once that was completed, I just had to fit it through the hole in the guitar tuner peg. It has a small hole through the middle, and it doesn't matter whether I tried both ways, fitting it through the top or the bottom, and it really didn't matter because the direction of the hole changes as you turn it in. And what I tried to do then was just to tightly grab around the knob with my fingers, and then I also used the needle nose pliers to pull on it, make sure that it was very tight, and in the end it looked like this. Finally, I replaced the arm into the subcutter and gave it a try, and I'm happy to report that it did work. It has now been 2 months since I replaced the wire in the subcutter, and so far it has worked great. I have made sure not to tighten it too much because I don't want it to break, but it seems to do the work. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye.